Gemini. Before we go deep into anything, I want you to pause for a moment, because there is something happening in your life right now. Something you can probably feel but haven't been able to name. The first Monday of the second week of December. It sounds ordinary, doesn't it? Just another day starting the week. But I need you to trust me on this. For you, for the energy of a Gemini, standing between choices you haven't dared to speak out loud, that day is not ordinary. It feels like one of those rare moments when the universe stops, leans in, and whispers something into your ear softly, but enough to make your heart tremble. Even just a little. You feel it, don't you? That vague sense that something is about to move, about to shift, about to open a new path, even if you're not sure where that path leads. And perhaps you've been trying to ignore it for a while, because you're afraid of being wrong, afraid of choosing incorrectly, afraid of hurting yourself again. But Gemini, it is not a coincidence that you are here. It is not a coincidence that you are hearing this at this very moment. There are moments in life we only understand after we've walked through them. And today, I want to open that door with you slowly, gently, like two friends sitting together in a quiet corner, talking about the things we usually hide from the world. You only need to let yourself flow with this guidance, without trying to analyze, without rushing to rationalize everything the way you often do. Just feel. Because what I'm about to say will touch places within you that you haven't visited in a long time. And if you're here right now, it means a part of your soul is ready to know its truth. If you feel connected, you can gently like this video. Subscribe to the channel so you always have a place to return to when you need it. And leave a short comment with the words, "I am ready for the destined Monday." This helps open the right energy meant for you. I truly want to hear your feelings, because every share you leave helps this message reach others who need it just as much as you do right now. So, if you can, prepare yourself a cup of tea or a coffee you love. Place it beside you. Then sit down comfortably, because this journey is only beginning, and I will be here with you until the very end. Part 1. The Awakening of Gemini. On the first Monday of the second week of December. Gemini. Before we go any deeper, I want you to take a slow breath and feel the air of this morning. There is something strange moving through the space around you, isn't there? A vague sensation, as if everything familiar is still there, yet carrying a different tone. Today isn't loud, it doesn't create obvious signals that force you to pay attention. But within this quiet, something very important is operating, and only sensitive souls like Gemini can feel this subtle shift. The first Monday of the second week of December sounds ordinary, maybe even too familiar to your daily rhythm. But for you, today is an energy crossroads, a moment the universe has been patiently placing into the exact right position. This is the day when the once-in-a-lifetime moment opens, not with a loud noise, but with a soft vibration in your awareness, a feeling that you know something significant is waiting for you. Gemini does not receive messages through dramatic events. You receive them through the thinnest signals. A sudden thought, a random comment someone makes, a moment when you pause in the middle of your work and feel as though you just remembered something you forgot long ago. Those tiny things are the language of the universe meant for you. And today, it is speaking a lot. The universe did not choose this day by accident. It chose it because you have spent too long in a state you haven't wanted to admit. You've been stretched between choices that were never resolved. You've been standing between two shores. You've been living in two versions of yourself. One version is strong, quick, social, always knowing how to make others feel at ease. And the other version, the one hidden deep inside, is tired, wanting to disappear, wanting to reclaim the balance you once had. For many months, you've tried to keep everything under control, while also trying not to fall into the void of confusion. But that has drained you. Not because you are weak, but because you've been living with two opposite energies at the same time. Gemini is always the one who understands so much, yet says so little. You don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to lose anything. But what you have sacrificed is the peace your soul is longing for. And today, this Monday, is the moment when you can no longer stand in the middle. This is the day when the flow of energy pulls you back into your truest version of yourself. Not for you to choose one side or abandon the other, but for you to return to a unified state, no longer divided, no longer forcing yourself to play a role that no longer fits your journey. Gemini does not change because of explosive emotions. You change because you realize you can no longer endure internal division, because you understand that if you keep living in this split, you will lose both versions of yourself. Today, the universe brings you a moment to acknowledge the truth, to pause and look inward, to say, enough, and to affirm that you deserve to live with clarity. The energy of today invites you to choose again, to choose the dream you forgot, to choose the desire you once feared saying out loud, to choose the version of yourself you feel most deeply connected to. And once you choose, this energy will begin to open a new journey, one where you walk with unity and the inner power that belongs to you. If you feel this touching something within you, gently like the video, subscribe, so the next messages find you right when you need them, and leave a short comment saying, "You are ready to step into your own awakening Monday." Every word you leave not only affirms the new energy you're welcoming, but also helps other Geminis find this path when they are standing exactly where you are right now. Part 2. What the past has taught Gemini, and the reason you were chosen on this day. Gemini, if you truly take a moment to look back at your journey over the recent months, you will see that nothing has been random. You have gone through emotional and mental states that even you couldn't fully explain. There were times when you felt like you were moving forward very quickly, full of excitement and confidence. But right after that, you fell into a deep quiet, wondering whether you were even heading in the right direction. That feeling of not belonging anywhere, of not fully connecting with where you are, Gemini, that is not weakness. That is the sign of a soul being restructured from within. To others, you may have been labeled with things they believe are true: inconsistent, indecisive, hard to understand. But they don't realize that every tiny shift in you is the result of very deep thinking. You don't make decisions based on fleeting emotions. You analyze, you observe, you examine every possibility in your mind over and over until it breaks open into a new realization. But from the outside, that process is mistaken for hesitation. Gemini, you are not hesitant. You are evolving. You are learning to become a more refined, more transparent version of yourself. And because of this evolution, you've gone through a series of inner disruptions. It feels like two people are living inside you at the same time. One wants freedom, movement, exploration, the thrill of new experiences, and the other longs for peace, stability, a solid anchor to keep from being swept away by endless waves of change. You've tried to balance both. But the more you try, the more stretched you feel. There have been weeks when you felt profoundly lost. You woke up feeling unsure of what your purpose even was. At moments, you questioned whether you were living your own life or simply living according to others' expectations. You never said it out loud, but you felt it every single day like an undercurrent pulling your heart downward. And even if no one saw it, you knew that for the first time in a long while you were truly tired. People around you might think you lack commitment because you don't choose a clear direction. But in the depth of your inner world, that isn't indecision. That is you searching for a new equilibrium, a version of yourself you have never been before. Every time you were judged, misunderstood, pushed to choose a side, choose a path, You weren't ready for each of those moments became a brick the universe placed into the foundation of this very day. The universe never pushes Gemini into a fated moment before you are mature enough to face it. And this Monday appears as a reminder that you are ready with enough experience, enough pain, enough lessons, enough depth to make a choice you once avoided. You are stronger than you think. And most importantly, you understand yourself more clearly than ever before. What has hurt you in the past months isn't just the confusion of choices. It's the feeling that no one truly understood you. You were forced to take sides when all you wanted was time to understand yourself. You were asked to answer questions you hadn't even asked yourself yet. You were required to be strong when all you needed was a small space to breathe. Gemini, those experiences didn't appear to break you. They appeared to forge you, to make you see the parts of yourself you kept ignoring. And now look at where you are standing. You've understood the wounds that made you vulnerable. You've seen clearly the desires buried deep within. You are aware enough to know what matters above all else. And because of that, this Monday has chosen you, because you are ready. If you feel this speaking directly to your heart, like the video, subscribe to continue walking this path, and leave a short comment saying that you now understand why you were chosen today. Just a simple sentence. But it is an energetic declaration, a confirmation to yourself that you are ready to step into the new phase of your life. Part 3. The signs that will appear today for Gemini and the moment of fated change. Gemini, today is a very special day, not because something dramatic will happen on the outside, but because of the subtle movements unfolding within you. The universe always whispers to Gemini, and you know that. Throughout your life, your most important messages have never arrived like thunder or loud disruptions. They always come through tiny details that only you, with your quick mind and sensitive subconscious, can truly notice. Today, those signs will begin to appear in a very personal way. You might be sitting in a familiar cafe, overhearing someone's conversation that you weren't even trying to listen to, and yet one sentence hits exactly the question that's been weighing on your mind. Or you may be scrolling on your phone aimlessly, and suddenly a line of text, an image, or a piece of information pops up and makes you pause. It doesn't just catch your attention, it feels like a precise reminder meant for you, even though no one sent it. Sometimes, the sign comes from people you thought had disappeared from your life. A message from an old friend, someone who once played an important role in a past chapter, suddenly appears. Not to disturb your life, but to activate a memory of who you were, what you once wanted, and how far you've drifted from your most authentic self. And then there are the signs that come directly from your body. Moments when you feel a light ache in your chest, like a brief, sharp pulse that feels strangely real. Or a split second when your breath stops because a sudden thought floods your mind. You don't have evidence, you don't have a plan, you don't have certainty, but you have an absolute feeling that you know what you must do next. That is your intuition being activated. And Gemini, I know this is the part that scares you the most. You are someone with a fast, sharp intellect, skilled at analyzing and seeing every possible angle in any situation. You always want more information, more time, more clarity before making a decision. You hate ambiguity. You hate choosing based on a feeling. You hate not being fully in control of the narrative. But today, that very lack of clarity is the message. The universe is asking you to step out of the comfort zone of your mind. All logic, all reasoning, all the plans you once made will no longer apply to this phase, because today is not a day for calculation. Today is a day for trust. The signs you receive today will be like a door that opens only a small crack for a few hours. If you see it and step through, a completely new possibility will unfold for your life. It might be a choice you've delayed for too long, a conversation you've been afraid to start, a decision you know is important but have never had the courage to face. Or perhaps it's simply the moment you dare to admit your true feelings, the thing you are best at hiding. And if you miss it, nothing terrible happens immediately. Life goes on. You still breathe, still laugh, still do everything as usual. But deep inside, you will know that you missed the chance to step into the life you truly want. You will feel an emptiness, something incomplete. And a few weeks from now, you'll wonder why you feel tired for no clear reason. This cycle will close if you do not enter it. Not because you are unworthy, but because energy does not wait. It only opens when you and the universe synchronize. And today is one of those rare moments. So, Gemini, if you sense that one of the signs has appeared, whether it's a gentle intuition, a fleeting thought, or a strange feeling in your body, allow yourself to trust it. Trust your intuition. Trust that you are being guided to exactly where you need to be. If what I've said makes you recognize something within yourself, like the video to maintain the energetic connection, subscribe to stay aligned with the messages ahead, and leave a short comment saying that you are ready to see your sign today. Sometimes one small action is enough to shift the direction of your entire future. Part 4. The greatest challenge of this day. Gemini and the confrontation with yourself. Gemini. There are days when the outside world seems still, yet within you a whole storm is spinning. Today is one of those days. A day that appears ordinary and peaceful, yet quietly carries a force that pushes you toward the edge of a truth you've avoided for far too long. The interesting thing is that the greatest challenge you'll face today doesn't come from anyone else. Not from someone who disappointed you. Not from an unexpected situation. Not from an external change. The challenge is you. That's right. Gemini's battle has never truly been with other people. It has always been a battle between the different parts within you. You are an air sign with sharp intellect, incredible adaptability, and a multi-layered soul. But that very multidimensional nature, that richness within you, is what makes you prone to long-term internal conflict. You want freedom. You want to rise, explore new horizons, live a life without restraints or limitations. But at the same time, you also crave a place to return to, a safe space to anchor yourself, a sense of stability, so you don't always have to be strong every single day. You want to love deeply, to have a connection where you don't need to explain too much, where you don't have to articulate every emotion, because a simple glance is enough. But that same part of you is afraid of love's depth, so afraid that sometimes you take a step back before your heart even has the chance to move toward the person you truly care about. You love beautifully. You want to change your life, free yourself from the old heavy things that drain you, and step into a new chapter. But at the same time, you fear the responsibility that comes with that change. You fear that if you choose wrong, you'll lose what little stability you've managed to hold on to. You want to move forward, yet sometimes you cling to the old simply because it's familiar, not because you still want it. Today, all these contradictions will rise to the surface, not through chaos, but through silence. Silence so deep that you can hear the voice of your own soul. Silence so undeniable that you cannot ignore it anymore. The universe is pulling up a very deep truth within you. A truth you've buried under layers of thoughts, logic, responsibility, and fear, and you will have to face the most important question you've been avoiding. What do I truly want? The question sounds simple, but for Gemini, it is one of the hardest in life, because you want many things. You see many possibilities. You have many dreams, many paths, many emotions stacked on top of each other. But at your deepest core, you know there is one thing you want more than everything else. And that one thing may terrify you, because it might go against the life you've been maintaining. It might require you to let go of something you once thought was essential. It might demand that you break a habit that has stayed with you for too long. Or it might pull you closer to someone you didn't expect. Sometimes, the truth doesn't hurt because it is bad. It hurts because it is real. But Gemini, the truth doesn't appear to destroy you. It appears to free you. And if today you can be brave enough to tell yourself the truth just once, then a new chapter will open. A chapter without division, without nights of spiraling thoughts, without the feeling of living two lives at once. Daring to face yourself is the most powerful healing act a Gemini can do. And today, you have the opportunity to do exactly that. If these words are touching the deepest corners of your heart, like the video to stay connected energetically, subscribe to walk with this awakening journey, and leave a short comment saying that you are ready to face yourself today. Sometimes, even a small acknowledgement is enough to open an entirely new path in your life. Part 5. The Fated Decision. Today, Gemini chooses a new path and cannot turn back. Gemini. We've walked together to the final part of today's journey. And this is the most important moment. The moment that everything you've been feeling, thinking, and struggling with over the past months has been leading you to. This is no longer the time for more thinking. This is the time for action. The moment when the universe wants you to take your first step onto a new path, even if you still can't see clearly what awaits you ahead. I know that scares you. Gemini always wants to understand everything before deciding. You want to see the map, know the exit, be sure you won't make a mistake. But today, the door opening before you is not for those who seek certainty. It is for those who dare to take a step, even while trembling. When the sign appears today, whether it's a sentence you hear, a message you receive, a strong feeling in your chest, or a sudden thought that makes your heart race, you will know. You won't need anyone to confirm it. You won't need to analyze. You'll only need to listen. And in that very moment, you must choose. Not tomorrow. Not after waiting for another sign. Not after something becomes clearer, but right now. The energy of today is rare, Gemini. Not every day. Do your mind and your soul align this perfectly? Usually, you and your soul are like two lines, slightly out of sync. Sometimes close, sometimes far, sometimes harmonious, sometimes opposite. But today, those two lines match exactly. The thought you're having is the voice of your soul. The feeling rising within you is the guidance of your intuition. The pull you sense is not random. It is the synchronization of your inner and outer worlds. A unity that only occurs a few times in life. And because it's rare, the door that opens today is rare too. And when you dare to step through, everything will change. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but quietly, and so deeply that you will never be able to return to your old self. When you step forward, the people who exhaust you, the relationships you've been forcing yourself to maintain, the situations you feel obligated to endure, these will slowly fall away. Not because you push them out, but because your new energy no longer resonates with them. You will feel lighter, calmer, clearer. When you step forward, the opportunities you thought you lost, the things you once believed you didn't deserve, the paths you never even imagined for yourself, these will appear, not because of luck, but because you're finally standing in the place the universe wanted you to stand. When you step forward, your future shifts into an entirely different timeline, like turning onto a road you never noticed before, a timeline where you're no longer running in circles, no longer living two lives, no longer shrinking yourself to fit what drains you. It is the timeline of your most authentic self. But if you don't step, if you let fear pull you back, if you keep waiting for more certainty, more time, more signs, then today's door will close. Not as a punishment, but because every opportunity needs a response. When you don't open your heart to receive it, the energy returns to its old state, and you continue repeating the same old questions, the same old conflicts, the same unfinished choices. And when you go to sleep tonight, you will know. You will know whether you live true to yourself or whether you once again ran away from what you truly want. You will feel either a deep sense of peace, like you finally did the right thing, even though it was hard, or a soft emptiness, as though you missed something important that you cannot name. Today is the day of choosing. If your heart is feeling even the slightest movement, a small but undeniable calling, like the video to affirm your energy, subscribe so you don't miss the messages that follow your journey, and leave a short comment saying that you are ready to step through today's door. One sentence is enough to shift the entire future you are about to walk into. Gemini. If you've stayed here until the very last moments of this journey, it tells me that a deep part of you is truly ready for change. Not change because the world demands it. Not change because someone wants you to become their ideal version. But change because you are tired of living between divisions, unfinished choices, and unanswered questions. Today, you've listened to the signs of your intuition, to the truths you've buried, to the doors that only open when your mind and soul align. But more important than all of that is the lesson you can carry into your everyday life. You don't need to know all the answers to move forward. You don't need certainty before you take a step. Sometimes, taking the step is the only way to see the path. And the greatest lesson for Gemini is learning to trust what feels true, rather than only trusting what is logical. Life doesn't always operate through logic, but it is always honest with those who dare to live authentically. If there is one thing you can begin today, it is allowing yourself to be a little more honest, a little more courageous, a little more attentive to your own inner voice. If each day you take even one small step toward your truest self, your entire future will transform. And this lesson is not just for today. It's for every moment you will ever walk through in this lifetime. And if these words have touched you, help me keep this energy flowing by liking the video, subscribing so we don't lose each other along the way, and leaving a comment saying that you are ready to step into your new chapter. Just one simple line can be the most powerful declaration you send to the universe. Thank you for letting me accompany you, listen to you, and whisper with you in this meaningful moment. Remember, you are not alone on the journey of returning to yourself, and I believe that when you fall asleep tonight, you will feel your own answer rising within you. See you in the next videos, where we continue the path back to your most authentic and powerful self.